Day 297 Maccabean Revolt, 1 Maccabees 16, Sirach 38-39, Proverbs 23 verses 29-35. Let's begin. 1 Maccabees 16. And so, John came up from Gazara, and he reported to Simon, his father, what Sendabeus had done against their people. And Simon called his 2 eldest sons, Judas and John, and he said to them, I and my brothers, and my father's house, have fought against the enemies of Israel from our youth, even to this day. And this work has prospered in our hands, so that we have delivered Israel several times. And now that I am old, you must act in place of me and my brothers, and go out to fight for our nation. Truly, may the help of heaven be with you. Then he chose from the region 20,000 men of warfare, and horsemen, and they started out towards Sendabeus. And they rested in Modin. And they rose up in the morning and went out into the plains. And behold, an abundant army of foot soldiers and horsemen was there to meet them, and there was a river flowing between them. And he and his people moved their camp opposite their face, and he saw the trepidation of the people to cross over the river, and so he crossed over first. And seeing him, the men also crossed after him. And he divided the people and the horsemen into the midst of the foot soldiers. But the horsemen of the adversary were exceedingly numerous. And they sounded the holy trumpets. And Sendabeus and his army were turned back. And many of them fell wounded. But the rest fled into the fortress. Then Judas, the brother of John, was wounded. But John pursued them, until he came to Kedron, which he had built. And they fled all the way to the towers that were in the fields of Azotus, and he burnt them with fire. And there fell of them 2,000 men, and he returned to Judea in peace. Now Ptolemy, the son of Abubus, was appointed commander over the plain of Jericho, and he held much silver and gold. For he was the son-in-law of the high priest. And his heart was exalted, and he wanted to obtain the region, and he devised treachery against Simon and his sons, so as to destroy them. Now when Simon was traveling through the cities that were in the region of Judea, and acting with concern for them, he went down to Jericho, he and Mattathias and Judas, his sons, in the 177th year, in the 11th month. This is the month of Shavat. And the son of Abubus received them, with deceitfulness, into a little fortress, which is called Doke, that he had built. And he made them a great feast, and he hid men there. And when Simon and his sons became inebriated, Ptolemy and his men rose up, and took their weapons, and entered into the gathering. And they killed him, and his 2 sons, and some of his servants. And he committed a great treachery in Israel, and he repaid good with evil. And Ptolemy wrote about these things, and he sent to the king, so that he would send him an army to assist him, and he could deliver to him the region, and their cities and tributes. And he sent others to Gazara to destroy John. And he sent letters to the tribunes to come to him, and he would give them silver, and gold, and gifts. And he sent others to occupy Jerusalem, and the mountain of the temple. Now a certain one, running ahead, reported to John in Gazara, that his father and his brothers perished, and that he sent to kill you also. But when he heard it, he was very afraid, and he apprehended the men who came to destroy him, and he killed them. For he knew that they sought to destroy him. And the rest of the stories about John, and his wars, and the virtuous deeds that he performed with fortitude, and the building of the walls that he raised, and the things that he did. Behold, these have been written in the book of the days of his priesthood, from the time that he became high priest, after his father. Sirach 38-39. Honor the physician because of necessity, and because the Most High created him. For all healing is from God, and so he will receive gifts from the king. The expertise of the physician will lift up his head, and in the sight of great men, he will be praised. The Most High has created medicines from the earth, and a prudent man will not abhor them. Was not bitter water made sweet with wood? The benefits of these things is recognized by men, and the Most High has given this knowledge to men, so that he may be honored in his wonders. By these things, he will cure or mitigate their suffering, and the pharmacist will make soothing ointments, and he will form healing medicines, and there will be no end to his works. For the peace of God is upon the surface of the earth. Son, in your infirmity, you should not neglect yourself, but pray to the Lord, and He will cure you. Turn away from sin, and direct your hands, and cleanse your heart from every offense. Give a sweet offering, and a memorial of fine flour, and fat in your oblation, but also give a place to the physician. For the Lord created him. And so, do not let him depart from you, for his works are necessary. For there is a time when you may fall into their hands. Truly, they will beseech the Lord, so that He may direct their treatments and cures, for the sake of their way of life. He who sins in the sight of the one who made him will fall into the hands of the physician. Son, shed tears over the dead, and begin to weep, as if you had suffered dreadfully. And according to judgment, cover his body, and you should not neglect his burial. And though you will sink down into bitterness, bear his mourning for one day, and then be consoled in your sadness. And carry out his mourning, according to his merit, for 1 or 2 days because of this loss. Yet sadness hastens death and overwhelms strength, and the sorrow of the heart bows down the neck. When one is taken away, sorrow remains. But the resources of a destitute man is found in his heart. You should not give your heart over to sadness, but push it away from you. And remember the very end. Do not be willing to forget this, for there is no turning back. Otherwise, it will not benefit you, and you will cause great harm to yourself. Call to mind my judgment. For so shall it be for you also. Yesterday is mine, and today is yours. When the deceased is at rest, let his memory rest also. And console him at the departure of his spirit. The wisdom of a scribe is found in his time of leisure. So whoever has less to do will gain wisdom. With what wisdom will someone be filled who holds the plow, and who boasts of the cattle prod that drives the oxen forward, and who is occupied in these labors, and whose only conversation is about the offspring of bulls? He will give his mind over to the plowing of furrows, and his vigilance to the fattening of the cows. Similarly, every craftsman and artisan, who crafts in the night as well as in the day, who sculpts graven seals, and who, by his diligence, varies the image, will give his mind over to the likeness of the image. And he will complete the work by his vigilance. The blacksmith, sitting by his anvil and considering a work of iron, is similar. The steam from the fire singes his flesh, and he struggles against the heat of the furnace. The voice of the hammer is ever in his ears, and his eye is upon the pattern of the ironwork. He gives his heart to the completion of his work, and his vigilance adorns it to perfection. The potter, sitting at his work and turning the wheel with his feet, is similar. He has settled into a continual concern for his work, and there is a rhythm in all that he does. He forms the clay with his arm, and he bends his strength over his feet. He will give his heart over to the completion of the glazing, and his vigilance to the cleansing of the furnace. All these persons trust in their own hands, and each one is wise in his own art. Without these persons, a city is not built. But they will neither inhabit nor walk around in the city. And they will not go across to the church. They will not sit upon the seats of judges, and they will not understand a decree of judgment. And they will not make clear discipline and judgment, and they will not be found to understand parables. But they will strengthen the state of the world, and their prayer will be in their artistic works, applying their soul, and searching the law of the Most High. A wise man will seek the wisdom of all the ancients, and he will be occupied in the prophets. He will preserve the words of renowned men, and he will enter with them into the subtleties of parables. He will search for the hidden meanings of proverbs, and he will become familiar with the mysteries of parables. He will minister in the midst of great men, and he will appear in the sight of the foremost leader. He will pass through the land of foreign nations, for he will test good and evil among men. At first light, he will offer his heart with watchfulness to the Lord who made him, and he will pray in the sight of the Most High. He will open his mouth in prayer, and he will make supplication for his offenses. For if the great Lord is willing, he will fill him with the spirit of understanding. And he will send forth the eloquence of his wisdom like rain showers, and in his prayer, he will confess to the Lord. And he will direct his counsel and his discipline, and he will meditate on his mysteries. He will make the discipline of his doctrine clear, and he will glory in the law of the covenant of the Lord. Many persons will together praise his wisdom, and it will never be abolished, for all ages. The memory of him will not fade away, and his name will be sought from generation to generation. The peoples will declare his wisdom, and the church will announce his praise. While he remains, he leaves behind a name greater than 1,000, and when he will rest, it will be to his benefit. I will meditate further, so that I may explain. For I have been filled with a passion. In a voice, he says, "Listen to me, divine fruits. You shall bear fruit, like roses planted beside streams of waters. You shall have a sweet fragrance, like the cedars of Lebanon. Blossom with flowers, like the lily, and diffuse a fragrance, and sprout leaves in grace, and give praise with canticles, and bless the Lord in his works. Give magnificence to his name, and confess to him with the voice of your lips and with the canticles of your mouth, and with stringed instruments. And in so praising him, you will confess. All the works of the Lord are very good." At his word, the waters stood still, as if piled together. And at the words of his mouth, the waters were contained, as if in basins of water. For it is made pleasing by his precept, and there is no decrease in his salvation. The works of all flesh are in his sight, and there is nothing hidden from his eyes. His gaze is from eternity to eternity, and nothing is a wonder in his sight. Let it not be said, "What is this?" or "What is that?" For all things will be sought in their time. His blessing has overflowed like a river. In the same way that a flood inundates the dry land, so also will his wrath inherit the peoples that have not sought him. In the same way that he turned the waters into dry land, and made the earth dry, and just as his ways have been directed for their journey, so also will sinners stumble before his wrath. From the beginning, good things were created for those who are good, and similarly, good and evil things are for those who are wicked. The principal things necessary for the life of men are water, fire, and iron, salt, milk, and flour for bread, and honey, and the grape cluster, and oil, and clothing. All these things will be used for good by those who are holy, but they will be turned to evil use by the impious and by sinners. There are spirits that have been created for vengeance, and they strengthen their torments by their fury. In the time of the consummation they will pour forth their strength, and they will appease the fury of the one who made them. Fire, hail, famine, and death, all these were created for vengeance. The teeth of wild beasts, and scorpions, and serpents, and the spear, all these take vengeance upon the impious, unto utter destruction. At his command they will feast, and they will be prepared upon the earth until they are needed, and in their time they will not ignore his word. For this reason, from the beginning, I was strengthened, and I have meditated, and I have considered, and I have put these things in writing. All the works of the Lord are good, and he will provide for each work in its own hour. Let it not be said, "This is worse than that," for all things will be tested in their time. And now, with the whole heart and mouth, give praise to him, and bless the name of the Lord. Proverbs 23 verses 29 through 35. Who has woe? Whose father has woe? Who has quarrels? Who falls into pits? Who has wounds without cause? Who has watery eyes? Is it not those who linger over wine, and who strive to be drinking from their cups? Do not gaze into the wine when it turns gold, when its color shines in the glass. It enters pleasantly, but in the end, it will bite like a snake, and it will spread poison like a king of snakes. Your eyes will see women who are outsiders, and your heart will utter perversities. And you will be like someone sleeping in the middle of the sea, and like a pilot, fast asleep, who has lost his hold on the helm. And you will say, "They have beaten me, but I did not feel pain. They have dragged me, and I did not realize it. When will I awaken and find more wine?"